So now we're going to go into the last session of our day, where we're going to ask the question, how can we enhance the outcomes for the Irish financial system? To begin, I'd like to introduce Aleksandra Mączyńska, Managing Director, Better Finance, to start our session. Better Finance is the public interest, non-governmental organisation advocating and defending the interests of European citizens as financial services users at European level to lawmakers and the public in order to promote research, information and training on investments, savings and personal finances. Before taking up the role with Better Finance, Aleksandra was the Deputy Director of the International Relations and Communication Department of the Polish Consumer and Competition Watchdog. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you to the Central Bank of Ireland for the invitation. It's really an honor to open today's discussion on the topic of great importance, not just for Ireland, but for the entire European Union, enhancing the outcomes of our financial systems, hopefully for citizens and the broader economy. So I stand here today as the voice of European individual investor, representing millions of individual investors across Europe who seek not just to save for the future, but to invest in it. And the question before us is how we can make financial systems work better for citizens, enabling their savings to drive growth, innovation and sustainability across Ireland and the EU, as well as boosting the EU's economic competitiveness and providing decent returns for savers, and especially pension savers. And I heard very clearly what the Deputy Governor said about the Irish attitude to share the information of their financial situation and health. So maybe I'll phrase the question, if you maybe in the audience would like to share with me one piece of information on your financial health situation, and tell me by the show of hands how many of you are individual investors, how many of you invest? Okay, that's great. So I think that we really need a citizens-centric financial system. Europe faces a dual challenge, addressing the financial needs of an aging population while ensuring that our financial system effectively mobilizes savings to enhance the competitiveness of the EU economy. So this is not merely the issue of economics mechanics, but also a matter of trust that we already had mentioned today a couple of times, and empowerment. And as regards the reports that were referred to during the previous panels, and as noted in the letter report for the European Commission, progress towards financial integration and a broader savings and investment union, and I quote, will remain elusive unless it is clear that such integration serves not merely the finance sector. Then we had the Draghi report, and it further underscored this point, highlighting the critical need to mobilize retail investing. Mario Draghi stated, quote again, the financing needs required for the EU to meet its objective are massive, but productive investment is weak despite ample private savings. EU households provide savings, but at present these savings are not being channeled efficiently into productive investments. In 2022, EU household savings were over 1,400 billion compared with 840 billion in the US. But despite this higher savings, EU households have considerably lower wealth than their US counterparts, largely because of the lower returns they receive from financial markets on their asset holdings. And I would like to repeat, largely because of the lower returns they receive from financial markets on their asset holdings. And I think this really must guide us when we strive to transform savers into investors and making their contributions to the foundation of a stronger and more competitive Europe. A pivotal moment for reform. So the discussion comes really at a pivotal time. President von der Leyen's mission letter to Ms. Albuquerque, the European Commissioner designate for financial services, lays out pretty ambitious but essential agenda from the retail investor point of view, and namely advancing the Savings and Investments Union and Investment Commission with a clear focus on citizens' needs. So the Commission role is critical as EU faces a growing pension crisis, a ticking time bomb. On 6th of November, Better Finance published our 12th edition of annual long-term and pension savings report, and we uncovered alarming trends. First of all, sustained inflation. So inflation, even if small, is eroding the purchasing power of savers' returns, and exponentially over time, compromising the long-term value of their retirement savings. Opaque fees. undisclosed or unclear total charges eat into real returns and leave citizens with less than they might expect to deserve. Ineffective asset allocation. Many funds, pension funds and insurers are missing opportunities that could increase value for savers. While current allocation, tilted much more to fixed income than their US counterparts, don't align with the realities of a current environment. So Better Finance has been heard by the Eurogroup, by the team of Pascal Donahue, by Mario's Draghi team, but also by Christian Weyer for the French report on the CAU of last April, which in line with the Eurogroup and very recently also the EU Council advocates for a pan-European tax-incentivized long-term savings plan into European equities. And we think that such a tool could be transformational. Better Finance also advocates for the launch of a European Total Stock Market Index Fund that would allow at last, like in the US, European citizens to invest massively into mid and small cap equities, SMEs, throughout the EU member states. And we really think that currently we should prioritize transparency, fairer fees, better asset allocation, and retail access to EU capital markets to ensure that citizen savings have really the power to grow over time. So challenges and opportunities for the Irish financial system. As far as I understand from different exchanges with different Irish stakeholders, also during the lunchtime and breaks, Ireland is experiencing many of the same challenges. So as per Central Bank of Ireland data, in the first 4 months of 2024, Irish households accumulated 1.8 billion in bank deposits, reaching a new high of over 154 billion euros. 1 in 3 adults in Ireland, approximately 33%, have some form of investment product. And there is a significant gender gap in investment participation, so 44% of men hold investment versus only 26% of women. One of the issues in the Irish financial system, I would say, is also the absence of a dedicated national organization to represent individual investors' interests. Individual investors in other countries have seen the advantages of a strong advocacy group that would successfully campaign for lower fees, better information and protection. So without such representation, Irish citizens lack a critical voice in policy making and the financial reforms that impact them. Therefore, Better Finance, and me in particular, appreciate a lot the invitation from the Central Bank of Ireland to address this panel and to bring these perspectives to the fore. So the stakes: financial security for citizens and economic growth for Europe. The EU, under the Commission's leadership, must act now to make citizens-focused financial reforms. And this is no longer just about achieving market efficiency or competitiveness. It's about creating a financial system that can sustainably support an aging population. It is also about ensuring that Europe's citizens feel secure enough to invest in their futures, and in doing so, to help also fund Europe's future. Individual investors are not only savers, they are citizens who want to invest in sustainable projects, new technologies, and a resilient EU economy. We live here and we want to invest in the EU. Better Finance and other organizations really recognize the untapped potential of these individuals to contribute to the green and digital transition and to European defense, but they cannot do it alone. So industry leaders, policymakers, and financial institutions have a role in unlocking this potential by creating very clear and beneficial pathways for citizens to invest confidently. So today we would need a really concerted commitment from all stakeholders to advocate for a truly inclusive financial systems that works for everyone. To policymakers, I would really urge them to push forward with the right implementation and enforcement to protect savers. And with Better Finance increasing problems with access to data on returns of savings, to also make transparency a pivotal and foundational principle of our financial systems. To industry readers, we would really like them to ensure that products that you offer are accessible, understandable, simple, fair, and products that really offer decent returns and not eroding the value of individual investors' money. The solutions must be available to everybody, from very seasoned and experienced investors to young savers that are just beginning to consider their financial futures. Europe's financial future is not only a matter of GDP, trade balances, and stock indices. It's about the financial health of all citizens. The families, workers, and the retirees who really depend on us to build a system that they can trust and participate in. We really owe it to them to make investing straightforward, transparent, and genuinely beneficial for all Europeans. So as we embark on today's discussion, let's remember the urgent priorities before us: to protect and improve the financial futures of EU citizens, to foster a genuine savings and investment union, and to build a financial system where Irish and European citizens alike feel empowered to invest. In doing so, we can transfer individual savings into powerful drivers of Europe's economic resilience, sustainable growth, and competitiveness. And it was very good also to hear in the morning, in the first sessions, that in fact Central Bank of Ireland is going to put consumer and investor protection at the heart of the whole policy here in Ireland. So thank you very much for inviting me also to share this opening remarks, and I would like right now to discuss with the whole panel how we can make it happen.